You're listening to She's the Business podcast. Do you have a signature program in your coaching business? Well, I interviewed a lady recently who reached $500,000 per month with her very first signature program, and she did that within 5 months. Yes, she's a mum with young kids at home, and she didn't have a big team or use ads. So, wow, the power of having a signature program for your business is something that you just simply cannot ignore. Today, I'm going through the 3 types of signature programs that you could have in your coaching business so that you could kind of think about what might be the right sort for you. Stay tuned, it's coming right up. Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and over the last 25 years in marketing and business, I've helped many brands to launch, scale, and grow, with some of them becoming multi-billion-dollar companies. I'm here to inspire you to get out of your own way and create a profitable, fulfilling business while living the lifestyle you really desire, without all the hustle. So I bring you She's the Business podcast, a unique blend of strategies, tactics, mindset, health, and spirituality, literally everything you need to be the successful leader of your dream business. Made by women for women, this is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration. Welcome back to She's the Business podcast. Today's episode is the next part 2 of a conversation that I began in episode 240. So if you haven't listened to that one, then maybe press pause on this and go back to episode 240. It's just 2 weeks ago, and listen in there first, because in that episode, we talked about the hidden mistake that a lot of coaches are making that's literally making their business invisible. And what happens is often when you have a mix of services, a menu as such, hoping that, something you've got will please somebody and that will make you more clients and more sales, then we explain why that's actually sabotaging your visibility and your authority without you even realizing it. And then introducing the power of the signature program as something that just makes your business far easier to run, more profitable, magnetic, and definitely more aligned, because the whole point of a signature program is that it is your signature. It is synonymous with you. It is built on your highest value, and it makes your business easy to run simply because that's what you're talking about. That's what you have. Everything that you're doing is leading you to sales of this core program. Now, in today's episode, we're going to talk about what a signature program is and what it is not, and then the 3 main types of signature programs that are really useful, really good, that work for coaching businesses. So you can kind of start to think about, well, if you don't have one, is this the right time for you to be thinking about it? Be thinking, well, this could actually be what's going to get you out of the trenches, out of the daily grind, the single sessions, the charging, the invoicing of all of these little micro offers that you have going on, and actually help you to step up into this place where you're serving people at a higher level, you're helping them achieve bigger outcomes, and you have a deeper, more empowering relationship with your clients. I know for me, the difference that I felt when I stopped trying to smash everything that I could possibly help someone with into a session so they'd go away thinking how great the value was, and actually realized, transformation takes time, and I need to give them time and I need to give it time. We want to do it in the shortest and fastest way possible, of course. This is not about extending out the time frame to be something really long that someone has to go through. It's still getting them to their goal the fastest way, but understanding that, it does take time for them to go from where they are now to maybe where you are or where that outcome is. And it's not just something that can be done in one step, especially not if we're talking about real transformation here. And of course, with a signature program, this isn't just a micro problem that we're solving, something really little that, yay, you can do that and now off you go again after one session. Like, no, a real signature program, true transformation is something far deeper, far more impactful. And I know that if you're a coach, if you're the kind of person who started a business in order to help people with your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, you have such a vision and a burning desire to see them succeed. You know in your heart that while they get value out of every single session they have with you, that they can't achieve it all in just one, or maybe a package of 3, or whatever it is that we're selling at the moment. So what a signature program is it's not a session. It's not even just a bundle of sessions where you're like, hey, yeah, come and buy some sessions with me and tell me what your problems are and I'll help you work through them. That's not a signature program. That is literally like you're hiring your time as somebody who has some expertise and you're asking the client to tell you what they want and you're delivering it. So it's almost like an outsourced employee in a way when you think about it that way, because it's the same thing that you did when you were an employee of a business. I'm assuming that you had a job at some point in time and you would be given tasks by your boss, right? Well, this is what I want you to do. And then you would go and do it and be paid for it. If you're running your coaching business in that way, that is the number one main reason. If you're struggling with visibility, struggling to really be valued for what you do and be seen with valuable impact, valuable services, and that authority that is so magnetic when you have it. If you're struggling to achieve any of that and you are asking your clients to tell you what they want and then serving it to them, then that is why. Because you are serving, you are in servitude. And the difference is when you are leading, when you have a signature program, yes, you are still providing a service to your client, but you are doing it from a leadership position. You're leading them, you're guiding them on their transformation, you're giving them the knowledge that they wish and need to have at the right time and in the way that is best. It's going to get them there fastest, not expecting the client to dictate the path there. And it's interesting how many people don't even realize they're doing this. They literally are asking their clients to tell them what is the path, what they want to do next, and get themselves to the goal. Like, if they knew that, they really wouldn't need to be hiring anybody. They're hiring you because they don't know. And the difference is being able to step up into that place where you say, hey, I know how to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Trust me, I have been there before, or I've done this so many times with so many other people. Let me guide you and I can help you get there faster, because we're not going to make some wrong turns and go off down tangent alley and do all the stuff that's not required. Sometimes people love to just stuff lots of extra things into their programs that aren't actually needed to get the transformation. You don't need to do that. We're going to get you there faster. And they see and feel that authority in you, that trust, and that's what they're buying. So signature program is that. It is built on your highest value, your knowledge, and it is synonymous with you, with your brand. You become known for your program, and that's how you know that it is the right one, and that's why we call it a signature program. It's literally your signature, right? It is the thing that you do. What it is not. So I started to talk about that a moment ago. Yeah, it's definitely not single sessions. It's not even a bundle of sessions. And it's not just something that you've thought of to sell. You're like, I see my ideal client, I see what problem they have, I understand them, and I'm going to create this course or whatever it is in order to solve that problem. Well, just because you've got a course that's solving their problem, that doesn't mean it's a signature program. Lots of people have a course, a membership, a group program, even one-to-one programs, that aren't their signature program. They just are an offering. So what makes it that difference? We really want to shift you up to this level of a signature program. That means you are delivering at your highest value, really the outcome that is something that you know how to help them do much better than they could ever do themselves. They definitely can't Google this and go and watch a 5-step video on YouTube. This is something that is deep, it's impactful, and it is powerful. And that's why it can become your signature, because it is the thing that you can talk about forever. You never get tired of talking about it. You never run out of things to say about it, because there's so much that you can share. And that's how you kind of really start to know that you're in there. Now, I just want to say for a minute, because I think people start to go, oh, don't know if I'm ready for this, or what if I choose the wrong thing? And then I've got this signature program and then it's not really what I want it to be. It can change. I started my signature program back in 2020, and it wasn't my signature when I first launched Business Jam. It was one of many programs that I was offering at the time. I made the mistake that I talked about in the last episode 240, where I had multiple programs. I had multiple offerings. I was literally at a menu of things. I'm like, right, do you want to work with me one-to-one? Do you want to work in a high-level group? Do you want a course? Do you want just a little mini course or a workshop? I had a whole array of things. I almost lost track of them. It was difficult even to think about, what am I promoting this week? Well, what should I be talking about? And I would be chopping and changing from one thing to another, because I had all these different things to sell, and none of them were my signature program. They were all just great offers. There was nothing wrong with any of them. They were all really good. They all sold. They were all successful. They all helped people achieve something, but none of them were my signature. And it was that moment of realizing, I'm confused. I'm overwhelmed. No, I can't even imagine what someone else is feeling if they're following what I'm saying, or if they're receiving my emails or following me on social media. They must be confused, because I'm jumping all over the place. And, they'd be not sure what they really need, right? Because there wasn't a clear pathway for them. It was more like, you come and tell me what you want and I can offer you all these different things. So that's what we want to avoid. Trust me. Goodness, I got to that point where I was working so many hours, unnecessary hours, which was the most frustrating thing about it. When I look back, I'm like, gosh, I wasted so much time. And I weirdly did some things that I already knew from my previous days in, working as a leader in marketing for businesses. When you have multiple brands that you're trying to manage and promote, it increases and multiplies your back end time. You need so much more, because you've got to create everything for that particular brand, different social posts, different branding, different look and feel of things, all of the materials. You're just multiplying all of your effort by so much, the more different stuff you try to manage. And I'd done that in my corporate days. I used to advise people, don't create a new brand. Let's include this under the existing brand umbrella. Let's just give it a product name, not a brand name. And I advised people on that for years and years. And here I was in my own business, literally doing the thing that I already knew that you shouldn't do if you wanted a streamlined, lean business where you weren't wasting lots of time or spending a lot of energy and time on stuff that you didn't need to be doing. So anyway, I learned that lesson again, the hard way. Yes. So I hope that by me sharing this, you can avoid learning that lesson yourself, and realized if I just simplify everything down and make Business Jam my signature program, it can literally support my entire business. It is the one thing. That is where my core framework is. That's what I already had in Business Jam, was my main framework. I can use that as a support tool for my one-to-one. I can, anytime I wanted to have a higher level group, a high ticket but small sized group program, then I can still use Business Jam as that framework, as the baseline. And then I could have it as more of a self-paced course. And there were so many ways that once I realized this can be my signature, and I can still offer choice if I want to, but it's actually much easier to have fewer options, less confusion, less decisions for someone to make. You say it's either this or this. When you've got two options, that's an easy choice. Now they can really lean into, well, I want the high touch one-to-one feel, or I want to sort of do it more myself and have that online support, great. Then they can make that decision easily. It's when you're offering so many things that are very similar in nature and almost the same but different and different prices, that's where people stop in their tracks and they go away to think. And most of the time, they're not going to come back unless you're there, knocking on their door again, come back, come back, come back. And we all know that, once they're kind of confused and in that decision place, it can just be hard to get them back out of it and excited and clear. So make it clear to begin with. Like, let's not even get into that tricky decision-making place. Right. So I said this episode, we're going to talk about the 3 different types of signature programs that you could use in your coaching business. And these are the different types that work. So within these types, obviously there's different formats that you could use, but there's 3 categories, main categories that I see. Which is right for you? Well, you can listen in and see which one feels like the best fit for your type of business, the industry that you're in, the sort of coaching that you're doing, what you're helping them with. And there are some that are more obvious fit for you than others. And every business is really quite individual. And that's what I find so exciting about it, because somebody's signature program could be a really high-level premium one-to-one offering, and someone else's might be a really affordable, low, subscription or membership. And they both can be amazingly successful. They both can be your signature program. It doesn't have to be a premium price. There are reasons why you might choose something that is a more premium offering. And I have whole episodes that I can do on why you might choose a low ticket, high volume over a high ticket, low volume. Usually when your audience is smaller, when your business is newer and you have less people in your network and that you're able to reach, it's a lot easier to sell fewer things, which means you would tend to lean towards the higher ticket at the beginning. And as your reach and your impact and your audience grows, then obviously those lower ticket models become more viable. They become something that's much more possible for you to create and be successful with. So let's start with the first one, at the top level. So your one-to-one type of signature program, this would be something that is a one-to-one coaching offering, but it's not a single session, and it's definitely not just a bundle of sessions. You've actually created this as a program. A signature program talked about the definition of, and the other piece that you want to think about is it has a clear transformation. It has a clear start and an end. It's very defined. It's not something open-ended. So you might have, for example, a VIP day. One of my lovely clients created an offer that was a VIP day. So she went from offering just random single sessions to people who needed some help to creating a VIP day with a very clear purpose, a very clear outcome and transformation. Now, when she did that, she went from making 10K months as her sort of standard average income to 25K minimum. That happened literally within the space of not even 3 months. I think it was under 3 months, 10 weeks from when she started to actually achieving that, because she was quite quick to put it together and put it out to market and test it. And because it was a one-to-one offering, as I mentioned a minute ago, you don't need a high volume of people. She was able to just bring one person here, one person there over into a VIP day, fill her schedule, and boom, there she was, 25K months. Amazing. Love to share that story. Now, the next tier down would be what I call your cash cow of your business, really your volume-based business, but it is still at a price point that's going to be really viable. And these middle tier ones are where you're looking at more of like a group program, maybe a more substantial course, a course that's more of a premium course that's going to have some level of live support in it. Not your really basic 4 to 6 week DIY course where you're just doing it yourself. Those would be lower ticket offers, but this would be a medium-sized program. And your signature, like, it doesn't matter that it's not the highest ticket offering in your business. Maybe you also do one-to-one and you have your signature program as your mid-tier, but this is where you're bringing the volume into. Maybe people start with something and they come into your world and the goal is to get them to the signature program. They might even come in from the top, from your one-to-one, and then end up in your signature program. The idea is that all roads lead to Rome. You want everybody, as much as possible, to end up purchasing your signature program. Now, the bottom tier, actually, an example of that. Let's talk about that. So I had a client a couple of years ago who was she had run a very successful tutoring business, had done that on multiple occasions. It wasn't her first business either. So she was quite a seasoned business owner. She was also a teacher, and she really knew the tutoring industry very, very well. She decided she would start coaching other teachers on starting their own tutoring business. So she created a group program that was this mid-tier range, right? So the very first time she created it, put it out, her beta or her pilot round, and made over $20,000 just with that pilot round. Amazing. I just love that story for her. Now, the bottom tier would be your signature program is actually something that is for the biggest amount of impact and reach and spread. So it's a lower ticket offering, and it's there to get the volume in. So this is where your idea of your signature program is the big community impact that you're making. The hundreds and if not thousands of people that may end up benefiting from your program. And a great example of this is one of my clients called Jo, who is a spiritual channel and guide. She has an amazing subscription. That is her signature program. So she has people who come in and have a one-to-one session with her. She has other offers, but everything leads them to this subscription program that she has. That is an ongoing transformational program, which is amazing. Yes, there is still an outcome, and I could talk on this for 4 hours, but it's not something we can go into all the details in one episode. Even though it is a subscription or a membership, they still have an outcome. It's up to the person how long it takes them to achieve that outcome, and then how long they actually want to stay in it after that. So it is still very well defined, which is what makes it your signature and makes it really attractive. A signature program, it sells itself. It is almost so magnetic because of the way that it's defined and the way you design it and how you speak about it. It becomes this client attraction machine almost on its own, which is one of the things that I just love so much about it. And there you have it. They're the 3 sort of broad types. Now, I mentioned a couple of examples. They're not the only examples. You might have a lower tier membership or even a course. Usually your courses and group programs are going to fit in your mid-tier, and then your one-to-one will fit at the top. So that's just a general way to think about it. And of course, it's about understanding what's going to be the right fit for your particular business. And that's the juicy bit I love. I love helping people take their existing business, what it is that they're offering, and then look at, well, what would be your signature program? Like, let's start to define it. So I think that for today, we have covered a lot of ground, given you some really cool insights into what signature programs are, what they're not, the 3 different types of signature program that you could have in your coaching business, all of them very successful in a model, in your service model. And it's really just about understanding how to connect in the other pieces together. How are you stacking it? How are you layering it? So that it does work for you. And it's not just another program that you're selling. The signature program has a far different feel to it than just a program with a brand. So do you already have one? Do you not? Do you have a program that you think could be your signature? And is it working for you? Are you Is it attracting in the right clients? Is it creating demand even for your other offerings as well? That was one of the unusual benefits I found when I turned Business Jam into my signature program, was actually my one-to-one sales started to go through the roof as well. And I had to sort of cut them off a little bit, as in not cut off the people, but I had to put a limit on the number of spots I had available, because all of a sudden I was getting so many discovery calls and people were, coming in to work with me one-to-one, even though all I was talking about was my Business Jam program, which just goes to show you the power of it, right? It becomes magnetic for you in your business. And when your other offerings are really well aligned and connected to your signature offer, it can help to sell, the things that you want to sell in your business. I always advise less is more. Please don't expand out, expand up, because that's where the profit lives, in doing less, doing it better, having that simplicity, that elegance, in what you're saying, how you're offering it, just makes your life so much easier and far more joyful. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and, let's continue the conversation, talk a bit more about signature programs in my next solo episode. So, make sure you're following the podcast so that you don't miss it. Come out in a couple of weeks' time, and we will tackle some of the other questions that are likely to come up, like, oh, but if I have a signature program, doesn't that mean I have to do big launches? Well, no, you don't, actually. I've had people fill their signature program literally without even having any kind of launch, without putting anything out publicly. So yes, there are absolutely ways to do it, however it works for you. And I'm going to talk all about those questions, the doubts that you might have, whether you're even ready for it or not, in that next episode. We'll call it part 3 of the conversation. So make sure you're hanging around and stay tuned for that. Hopefully I don't have a cold by then. You might be able to tell I've got a little bit of a croaky voice today, which is lovely. My lovely daughter's brought something home from school with her. So apologies if I've sounded a little bit croaky today. That is just life when you have young kids, isn't it? I know that all of you get that. So awesome. Hope you have a good weekend. I will see you next week with a beautiful guest coming on the podcast to share their stories, their insights, all of that goodness with you. I hope you really get into the different things that people share that they've learned in their businesses, because I think that's the way we speed up our own learning and understanding. The insights that I gain just from listening to them are incredible. And yeah, let's see what comes up next week for you. I always love to hear from you. So please drop me a note, say hi over on Instagram or Facebook, wherever you like to hang out. Even LinkedIn, I am there. So, connect with me and share something that you've enjoyed, because I like to hear from you. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye for now. If you've already got a signature program but think it's not quite working for you the way that it should be, or if you've been listening along to the last couple of episodes of me talking about signature programs and you're really interested in creating your own, maybe stepping away from that low ticket grind or selling the one-off sessions that just seems to be so exhausting and not very rewarding, then I've got something really exciting to share with you today. I'm about to kick off a 2025 update and upgrade of my Business Jam program, adding in the newest insights, lessons, and learnings to help you create that no-brainer signature program that sells itself, with a really simple marketing system to grow it with premium clients without needing a big team, a big budget, or any of that hard hustle mentality. Now, I've decided to run a once-off live cohort as I roll out this new content, and it's going to be starting this month in May. This will be a small, intimate group of just 10 women who want to work with me on a really personal, intimate level through this new content as it rolls out, and get extra coaching and support before I open it up to the broader public as this new and refreshed program. So it's a very limited opportunity and a first come, first served basis because there are only 10 spots. I'm not opening this up any broader than that. We're starting this month just a couple of weeks' time from now. So if you want to know more and get a spot for yourself, perhaps if it is going to be the right fit for you, then what you need to do right now is go and put your name on the Business Jam priority list. I'll be in touch as soon as possible with more details and give you the information that you need to see whether it's a good fit for you and to take that spot if you wish to. So head to jessicaosborne.com/businessjam to put your name down on the priority list right now. So excited. This is going to be a really, really fun experience. And if you're new to me, if you haven't been listening along for years on the podcast, this is not a brand new program. This is an upgrade and an update of my existing Business Jam program that I've been running for almost 5 years now. There have been multiple people come through this program, develop their own signature program, fill it before they've even really got their proper marketing system in place. It's amazing just how quickly change really can happen. So I'm doing this update. It's going to be amazing refresh of that content with a 2025 slant on it, incorporating all those newer, deeper learnings and insights that I've developed over the last time of me coaching these people through, and also my own experiences as well. So you're going to be getting the absolute best of what I have to offer in this new update. So if you want to join me for it, pop your name on the priority list right now. I'll get you the details and hopefully you might take one of those 10 spots to work with me live on it. I can't wait for this. It's just going to be so much fun. So come on and join us before it's too late.